You're going to get what you deserve. Bow down to the one you serve. You're gonna get what you deserve.
I'm not a hard rock guy. Who's that?
They're not hard rock.
Who is it?
9 Inch Nails.
Okay. Metal rock, Satan rock, whatever, all of that stuff.
No, head like a hole. Bow down to one before, you know.
I like a nice ballad, you know. You're there with a nice cigar and a glass of wine, and you have a nice. And you're there. You kids today, I don't know. Hi everybody. The 19th, right?
Yes.
Yes, all day.
Yeah.
Friday.
That's right. You know what?
Friday.
You know, and
Friday.
You know what? Yes, it is. That's what today is.
What is today? It's Friday. It's
Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday.
I kill you.
And it really is today.
It really is. Today is a Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday, as you can tell, folks, by at least those of you who are watching by the picture behind me. Try to figure out what that is. We're going to give you 3 guesses. 1, a bunch of Catholics at the Vatican bowing down to
world peace. Yeah.
Actually going into for a Christmas celebration. Number 1, and we'll keep it in the religious mode. Number 2, it's a bunch of Jehovah's Witnesses, running around doing their Jehovah's Witness stuff someplace.
I'm thinking not.
In West Palm Beach, because they have a place in West Palm Beach.
It could be a bunch of Hindus going up to see.
Could be.
Dalai Lama.
Could be that. It looks like it's a little chilly where they are. Or how about an out-of-controlled, deranged gang of Hamas jihadis on the Temple Mount today?
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh. On the Temple Mount in Israel, on this Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday. Folks, we couldn't have scripted this any better ourselves for today's show. We got the boys and their testosterone flowing out of their Arabic veins as they want to make a statement not unheard of even around here in Miami on July 20th, 2014. We heard the same exact statement. We'll let you hear that a little bit later. But we got activity up on the Temple Mount. That's one of the issues we'll deal with today on this Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday. Tom Trento, your host, Enemies of the State, the name of the show. Crazy computer stuff in the windows there. And it's WSBR Radio, 740 AM on the dial. AM on the dial is the amplitude. Is it? What's the AM stand for?
Amplitude modulated.
Modulated. And
frequency modulated.
Frequency modulated. What does that mean? Anybody know that?
Yes, I do.
What does it mean?
Well, you modulate the frequency or you modulate the amplitude.
Oh, okay.
No, because if you make the wave bigger, okay,
it's
goes up
the
and down.
size of the wave.
And frequency is like how
often
cycles per second.
Frequency, okay. All right, there it is. We just solved the AM FM issue. We're on the AM side of the dial, not 7:40 in the morning. 7:40 on the dial, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, East Coast time. Right now, it's about 9 minutes after the hour. Why do people on the radio say after the hour?
I know exactly why.
It's a good question. They could just tell you which freaking hour you're talking about.
Because you get different time zones.
Different time zones. People are listening in different hours. The hour never changes. It's always an hour 20 after. The after the hour never changes, however many. But the hour itself changes. Now, why does it change? We'll have a little astronomy class here.
Why does the hour change?
Yeah, why is the time different here than it is in Germany?
It's a big ball in the sky.
But why didn't God just make it so it's one time all the time?
Because the Earth's not flat.
Why didn't he make the Earth flat?
Because he wanted to make it round. I don't know.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
These and other...
And boom, what happened?
And boom, what happened? What are you
And
doing?
what
What are you doing? What are you doing?
These and other questions. These and other... That's not me, I hope.
No.
These and other astute questions we will raise on today's show. It's been a wild week, let me tell you. We got on Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday. We take a humorous look. Watch, our emails are going to get hacked by, I don't know, Saudi Arabia?
No.
And then they're going to...
South Korea.
Oh, South Korea.
North Korea.
North Korea, one of those. We take a humorous look at the religion of peace, Islam, and we reveal some of the more fun parts and some of the... But we do all of this with an eye toward education. We're trying to educate the West, particularly after last night's presentation. We did a presentation to an interesting group down in South Florida. Live presentation. We do that, folks. If you write a check large enough, we will come to your location. And the average size of the check needed to bring the United West team to your place is about $3, okay? So if you can write a $3 check, we're all over it, all right?
That's right. We're all white on rice on that.
Because we live for money. That's what we live for here. Wait, how do you say it? You may be...
That Trento, he might be the world's biggest Zionist, but he's no Jew when it comes to the money.
Okay, that's Schmucky over there saying that. Schmucky, what's going on with Hanukkah and Jumpin Jumm'ah? What's that all about?
Well, Tom, it's the fourth night of Hanukkah tonight.
Fourth night.
Fourth night, it'll be halfway over. And actually, ours is going to end right before yours starts. Your Christmas,
That's right. Yours ends the day before Christmas starts. And the Jumpin Jumm'ah stuff comes between that. Let me ask you a question, Schmuck. You're now voting Republican.
Yes, for the first time in 88 years of my life. 70 years of voting.
My hat is off to you. But let me ask you something about the... the difference between... You with me?
I'm here, Tom.
Let me ask you something about the difference between the Democrat and Republican ladies that you meet.
Oh, one thing I could tell you is now, hanging with the Republicans, the ladies are quite good looking over here.
On this side.
Yes, on the Republicans, these conservatives. You've got the Michelle Bachmann.
Schmucky.
Yes.
Getting a little,
I'm feeling alive all of a
getting a little
sudden.
Randy on us there.
No low T for you. No low T for you.
I might need to have my heart checked, but no low T.
Okay, no low T. But, you know, sometimes you see coming up on the internet, they'll show the Democrat political women, and it's like, yeah. And then they show some of the Republicans like Michelle, like Sarah Palin, and, you know, I mean, we go down the list.
What do you think of Sarah Palin?
Even this love girl from Utah.
Oh, Mia Love?
Yes.
What about Haley Barber down in South Carolina?
Hey.
Haley Barber is about 300 pounds.
Oh, no, Haley,
He's about
what's her name?
65
What's
years old.
the Haley? What's the name? What's her name?
It's not Haley Barber.
Not Haley Barber. What's her name?
Yeah, I forget her name.
I
She is
don't know
attractive.
what he's talking about.
She's attractive. No, but generally
Tom, I
speaking,
heard you know Michelle Bachmann. Is that true?
Yes.
Do you know if she likes very old, short Jewish men?
I could find out for you.
Well, she's
schmuck.
not that tall, you know.
No, she's short. She's short lady.
So hey, that's one plus in your
I'm
favor.
88 and single. Let her know.
I will do that. I will do. Well, let me. All right.
Oh, yes. Where were you
Schmuck,
going with the
all right,
question?
put it back there for a minute, Schmuck. Just relax. Sit there for a second. Let me talk to. Is he here? Did he get here yet, Mark Abdullah?
Hold on, there he is. All right.
Hello, everybody. I am sorry I'm late again. It is Friday. You know,
They're all-
Fridays. I'm
you ever
coming
notice-
straight from Masjid.
Do you ever notice that they're always late? He is always
guys,
late, and
yes.
no matter he's on Muslim Arab time, always late, always late.
How are you today, Imam Abdullah?
Most fantastic, Tom.
good,
I'm
good.
coming fresh from the Jummah prayers at the Masjid and feeling invigorated today.
You're sitting a little close to Schmucky there, and I just asked him about the women because he voted for 88 years, basically, Democrat. Now he's voted Republican this past election for the first time. Made the difference in this this state.
Thank
Ask him about
you.
the women. I asked him about the Democrat women and the Republican women, who's softer, who's more attractive, who's more gentle, who's more womanly, and he's leaning to the Republican side. I have the same question for you, but not Democrat and Republican. Shia and Sunni.
Well, Tom, that is very difficult to answer because typically they will be covered in full burqa and there is no way to tell until you have already married her.
Well, how does that work? I mean,
really.
do you get a chance to see the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with?
Oftentimes, no, it is arranged by the families or the clans and you have no idea what your wife will look like. Or smell like, for that matter.
Smell like. Okay, all right. On Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday.
And
at 16
sometimes that couldn't be very
That could
bad.
be-
They
it
wear
could be a
the
problem.
burqas even in the heat. It keeps all the stinking.
But as I understand it, Islamic doctrine allows you to have 4. So if things go south on the first one, if the olfactory sensitivity is just a bit overwhelming, you can go to number 2.
Of course, and I do not even have to get rid of number 1.
Oh, you can keep number 1.
Yes. In fact, I still have a wife in Pakistan. I have a wife here, and I have a wife in New York.
All right, you're a better man than
So
many
I can
people
still
know.
get married one more time. Not to mention, even if you have the 4 wives, I could still have as many sex slaves as I could possibly handle. That I do not have to marry.
You know, on Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday at 17 minutes after 4 o'clock, Tom Trento, your host, Enemies of the State. I saw recently that the Islamic State, and again, folks, we're making this point very seriously. This is now the Islamic State. If you want to address an enemy, and they are indeed the enemy of Jews, Christians, and the West, it's not ISIS anymore. It's not the ISIL. Not all of these evolutionary units where they came from. They moved out of that. It's the Islamic State. They're on a quest by 2020 to essentially have a global caliphate. Now they have a local caliphate. They are building schools. They're building hospitals. They're suffering a little bit of a setback in terms of their military expansion, because the Kurds, and we need to be helping the Kurds. We've done some shows on that. We'll do more. But I read the other day that the Islamic State now, you know, once you're just a vicious, brutal gang like Al-Qaeda or some of Boko Haram or Tizbet Harir, all these different groups, you're just killers and you just cut your way through, you don't produce. But once you want to be a state, you have to become productive and you have to have some sort of rules and regulations.
Yes.
Usually based in the Sharia. Now, what happened is, because they were, the Islamic State, slicing through these little villages and hamlets and towns in Syria, in Iraq, and you know, you come up to a village of 500 people, you kill all the men in there, and out of 500, there's going to be 20, 30, like, very pretty young women, 12 years old to 40 years old. Well, from what I understand, Imam Abdullah, those women are what?
Free for the taking. Muhammad says, whatever you can take with your right hand is yours.
Yeah, I don't know if our audience, our listeners, and our viewers realize it, that Islamic doctrine, unlike the United States military doctrine, unlike Israeli doctrine, unlike British doctrine, unlike even Italian doctrine, unlike any European doctrine, unlike any Western country doctrine, Islamic doctrine not only justifies, not allows, but mandates at times the taking of the booty, the taking of the women there.
Right.
Why? What's the rationale?
It's property.
This is a big idea on this Jumpin Jumm'ah, 19 December 2014, that we're leaving with you. But what needs do the warriors have, because they're away from home, that needs to get satisfied?
Sexual
so they can be
desires.
Ma-
Sometimes we get
it
sick
goes-
of having sex with each other.
And
Goes
the
back-
women are there as...
Yes.
Yeah, it goes back to Maslow's pyramid of physiological needs. At the bottom of the pyramid is sex and breathing, just like
Yeah, but
everything else.
the West has the same needs as the East, as
yeah,
Islam.
but they control those needs.
But here you
And-
let your women make up your own minds, which
And
is
also-
ridiculous.
and
How
also-
can you let a woman pick her husband?
And also, since women are seen as property, they are thought of as like cars, if you will. You know, you want the new car, you want the ones you want many of them. Also, it's a way to have, make bonds and alliances with other tribes. You can't have women running around just having sex with whoever they want to. That's the reason you have to cover them up. You have to have control over these women. You can't have them intermarrying with other tribes.
No, you destroy the whole bloodline and the tribal elements
and
of
it's
Islam.
impure, and it's all Islam, and it's in their mindset is about honor and purity. Purity meaning racial purity, keeping the race of Islam pure.
That is why they have sex with their cousins.
In a similar way, Hitler had in mind of purity of the Nazi race, purity of the white people. And that's the reason I come back and say Islam is very extremely racist. That's one of the reasons they tremendously hate the Jews. They want to see them exterminated.
Completely.
That same mindset that was with Hitler.
Yeah, no, it's...
And one other quick thing about the I'm sorry. No. If you go back to World War II and you look at the Hitler program to keep the Nazi race pure, they had something called a Lebensborn project, where they controlled the purity of the women to breed a pure race of Aryan nations. In the same way that ISIS is trying to do here. Capture them, boom, and breed your army.
Well, yeah, that's their longer game plan. We talked last night at the presentation.
Well, it's doctrine. It's not just their game plan. It's Islamic doctrine.
We talked last night that there's the Islamic State in their establishment of the caliphate. They have a 20-year plan. They're in like phase 4 or 5 right now, which is the establishment of the caliphate, which occurred this past summer. And more and more people are joining the caliphate. But we said there's this turn inward right now by Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Caliph Ibrahim. Turn inward is the purification of the Sunni movement. He needs Sunni warriors and Sunni women that are in lockstep with the plans of the Islamic State. That's why they're killing, the Islamic State, are killing a lot of Sunni Muslims who are not buying into this. So you got to get those folks out of the way. And regarding the taking of young girls or older women for sex slaves, it's absolutely part and parcel of Islamic doctrine. Now, we say this because there's many Muslims who are becoming westernized, friends of ours, who are, some of them, I got to push that thing right there. Some of them are starting to rethink seriously the validity of the truthfulness of Islam. Many people are raised in religions, and you just believe them because you're raised in them. And you're in that culture, and whether it's a bizarre satanic religion or a pantheistic where God is in the dirt, and God is in the snail, and God is in the tree, and whatever. If you're raised that way, you accept those beliefs as a young person. When you get older, then you start thinking on your own. Problem with Islam is they don't allow free thought, and because you will be ostracized from the tribe or killed.
They kill you.
But it makes it very simple. You have nothing to think about. Allah laid it all out for you. There's nothing to think about.
And the point of contention, our show and our work, because we're more geared toward truth than doctrine. That's a very important point. Doctrine ought to reflect truth. When, in fact, doctrine does not reflect truth, like in Islam, then somebody has an obligation to tell someone, if at least you're concerned for them. Let me ask you guys this. Who loves the Muslim more? The one who knows that their life is a life of death and destruction and tells them to continue on that path, or the individual that knows that their life is a life of death and destruction and challenges them to rethink the direction they're going? Who truly has more love for that individual?
The first.
We're not going to answer that. We'll let the audience answer that. Something's touching my leg. We'll let the audience answer that.
And the tingling thing going up your leg.
We'll let the audience answer that. But that's the thought-provoking question for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Who really has more love for an individual? A person who steps out knowing that this could be a problem situation. It could create an area where you're not liked. And if you have a need to be liked and to be accepted
Like
by
the
your
president.
peers, like the president of the United States, then you're hesitant to do these sort of things. But if you truly are concerned about your fellow man, you see them walking in a direction, and the end of the plank goes right off into a big pit of fire, and you tell them, hey, you keep going in that direction, you're going to fall and get hurt. Who has more love? That person who does that, knowing that there could be blowback, or the person that knows that and says, just keep doing what you're doing. Just don't worry about it. We need more people like you. Who really has more love for that person as a person? And you figure that one out. That's an important one. At 26 minutes after 4 o'clock. Or your hour, wherever your hour is. Right?
Had a thought yesterday when we were talking about the Obama, when he was talking about Chicanos and all that other good stuff, and
in his book where he said
right.
he stands with the Chicanos and the feminists and the Marxists and all that stuff.
Yeah. You look at that front part of that statement again, and actually I was talking with my wife last night. She actually had a very good point. She goes, when you hear him say let me just play the clip here again.
Play it. No, this is good. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, you have to go to youtube.com/TheUnitedWest and go to yesterday's show, 18 December. It's entitled Fidel Castro, quote, I heart Obama, close quote. Fidel saying he loves Obama. Our show was on the absurd decision the president and his handlers have made to normalize relations with Cuba. And Mark, cue that up. And one point that Andy McCarthy, our good friend, TV2 writer, Grand Jihad writer, just wrote another great book. Find Andy's latest book. I want to tell the people about it. Has to do with impeachment of the president. But he raised the question. The president and his handlers keep saying the current program to isolate Cuba is not working. So he raises the question, what does working mean? What do you mean by working?
Right.
What does that mean? And he raises it in a rhetorical sense to show it's working, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Now, why are you changing it? That's the question.
Right.
But go ahead, let's hear this insecure, narcissistic,
manipulative, and this is
empty-suited president. See what he has to say.
To avoid being mistaken for such a sellout, I chose my friends carefully.
To avoid for being mistaken as a sellout, I chose my friends carefully. Going back to that one point again, the additional thing that we missed yesterday was he does this to manipulate people. He chooses his friends to manipulate people, to manipulate the public, appearance of him. You understand the difference? When he says that, I chose my friends. Let's listen to that part again.
Yeah, go ahead. We're analyzing the president's...
To avoid being mistaken for such a sellout.
To avoid being mistaken for such a sellout, I chose these friends. Which means it's the level of manipulation that he'll go to actually gain power. This is totally narcissistic, completely the reason he did everything down in Cuba. This is a manipulation ploy, Tom. This is all this is.
Now, who's he trying to manipulate?
The American people. He wants to be seen as this person that he is not. Everything he does is a manipulation. He chooses his friends, not because he likes them, but because of what others perceive him as.
To not be. Yeah. No, for sure.
But
I don't think we've still. We haven't unraveled what his end game is.
The destruction of the United States. What do you mean?
Well,
McCarthy's book, by the way, is called Faithless Execution.
Faithless Execution.
Building the political case for Obama's impeachment.
Yes. Faithless Execution, Building the Political Case for Obama's Impeachment. What he's saying there, Andy McCarthy, at 30 minutes after 4 o'clock. And Andrew McCarthy is an attorney, constitutional expert. He was a prosecutor in the Southern District of New York for many, many years. He cut his teeth on what?
Putting my people in the slammer, T.
What he did.
He put the mobsters away, and I'm not happy about that. But other than that, he's a fantastic individual. What he did by putting away all those terrorists, I forgive him for putting my people away.
Okay, it's a quid pro quo. No, he and Giuliani, he was one of Giuliani's right-hand prosecutors, breaking up the so-called mafia in New York and in the 80s, and then from that, staying as a prosecutor in the Southern District of New York, federal prosecutor. He got involved in going after the terrorists coming out of Brooklyn and the Sheikh Abdul Rahman, who was the blind sheikh. He's what? Yeah, the blind sheikh. And he put the blind sheikh in jail. So let's give Andy McCarthy a hand for putting the blind sheikh in jail. And when you talk to him, he says it was a team of a lot of people, but he was one of the spearheading guys in it. Do we have a special guest with us today?
Not yet. No, we're getting there.
What are you pointing to?
Well, we're reminding you to go to her.
And maybe get to some of the other stories.
Let's replay that. We're about to have a special guest, and she will be here shortly.
Well, she is here right now, so.
Okay, we have a special guest in our new studio. I want an ear control guy in here going, Tom, you got to do this. Tom, you got to do that instead of this. So anyway,
Tom, you just flashed some gang signs. We're going to have to edit the video.
Well, we got a gang behind me, and we have someone very close.
Yes,
very close in proximity to that gang right there. And we're going to hear from her about that gang, what happened today in the center of the universe, Jerusalem, Israel.
And we have some video from her.
Oh,
That's
do.
right.
I don't know if it's from her. I don't think it's from her.
It's not?
No.
Okay, from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have with us, drum roll please, we need it. Jerusalem Jane.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Jerusalem Jane.
guys.
How are you?
Good to see you again.
Yes, it's been a while, and we'll go over why we haven't seen you last week. We want to get you on every week to give us an update from Jerusalem.
Right.
Just tell us what's going on right now in Jerusalem, or earlier today, because it's 7 hours later. It's nighttime there.
Well, there was a party today on the Temple Mount. You just saw the picture. And I wasn't invited. I don't understand why I wasn't invited.
There was a party on the
apparently-
Temple Mount, and Jerusalem Jane
Right.
was not
Not invited.
invited. Okay.
Yeah, I think my invitation got lost in the mail. But no, but it's Friday, and every Friday it's mayhem on the Temple Mount, meaning that it's only allowed for Muslims to go and pray. And today, normally the guys living in Gaza are not allowed to go on the Temple Mount, but they were today. They let in someone today. And apparently Hamas decided to join the party. So Hamas was up there with their flags and all their lights and their propaganda screaming death to Israel on the Temple Mount.
Wait a
So
minute.
there you go.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. We have the Temple Mount, and as our viewers and listeners know, and we may be getting, we get new viewers and listeners every day. Tom Trento here. We're a little past the bottom of the hour. It's 34 minutes on the East Coast, 4 o'clock. But if you're watching a replay, it's 34 minutes past whatever hour this thing started. If you're watching it in another part of the world, it's 34 minutes after whenever it started, obviously. But the name of the show is Enemies of the State. I'm your host. The organization is the United West. And our goal is to expose Islamic Jihad and defeat Islamic Jihad through an information and ideological war. We don't use weapons and guns and knives. We don't deal with that sort of stuff. We deal with thoughts and words and visuals and information. And we bring a lot of subject matter experts in. And our guest right now, Jerusalem Jane, is indeed a subject matter expert because she lives right in the middle of the action. And part of her ministry, she's a Christian, she goes up to the Temple Mount to pray for Israel. And we're going to have her tell us about that. But she said there was a party this morning. Do we have any footage of the party that was up on the Temple Mount?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's take a look at this, Jane, and you can tell us what's going on after we come back.
This is on the Temple Mount just a few hours ago, right?
Yeah, today. Yeah.
What are they chanting?
Well, what I was hearing was, death to Israel. That's what they normally say, so there's nothing surprising in this.
Death to Israel?
This is what they say. This is the Aqsa. It's not the Al-Aqsa, the mosque, but the whole compound is called the Aqsa. That's what I had a guy telling me when I was up there. So they're just, this is their place, and death to Israel. Isn't it lovely? See how many people who are up there?
What's that, Jane?
See how many they are.
There's a lot of people up
with
there.
With the Hamas flag. It really infuriates me. You can't even bring an Israeli flag up there, and they can bring Hamas flag.
That's a terrorist flag.
It is. It's a terrorist flag.
Well, yeah.
And today of all day, you know what? We are celebrating Hanukkah. On the rededication of the second temple. Where was that temple? On the Temple Mount. And the Jewish people can't go there, but Hamas can go have a party today? Come on.
All right, let me put these pieces together, because you just raised some fascinatingly interesting points. Ladies and gentlemen, at 37 minutes past the hour, we have a situation in Israel today. The Temple Mount, what does that mean?
That thing right in front of you.
The temple is on a mountain, okay?
That little thing right in front
Mount
of you.
Mount Moriah is the mountain, and the first temple was built and destroyed. Solomon built the first temple, was destroyed. The second temple was built and destroyed in 71 A.D. by the Romans. So there's two temples built there, and the Jews were dispersed 71 A.D. The diaspora. They no longer they were thrown out of Israel. They no longer had a temple to gather around. Many Jews actually stayed and never left. There's an unbroken chain of Judaism in Israel. But Muslims took over and vilified the city. Very quickly, in 691, they went and built this thing, which is not the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is the dome of the rock, dome over the rock. And it's very beautiful. This is what you see in all the pictures and everything. The mosque is, how far away from this is the actual Al-Aqsa Mosque?
Oh, it's very close. When you go up on the Temple Mount, you go right to that's the Al-Aqsa. And then you take just a few steps, and then this ugly. You say it's pretty, I think it's hideous. And it's huge. It's huge, this thing.
It's huge.
It is huge.
It's pretty in a hideous sort of way, okay? I understand the hideous nature, this thing just sticking right out of there, but it's a thing that shines. The Saudis just spent like hundreds of millions of dollars a few years ago replating it with gold. But now, can you as a Christian go inside of the
No. Several years ago, they could, but now it's only Muslims. Yeah.
Only Muslim. You can't go in
only Muslims.
The Aqsa
No, we
Mosque.
can't go in.
Okay. So now your ministry as a Christian, part of it. Tell us what it is.
Well, there is so much lies and propaganda coming about this nation that someone needs to get their boots on the ground and tell the truth and what's going on here. And I really try to do that I have a page on Facebook called Israel One Nation, where I try to share the news that's not really hitting the rest of the world coming here from Israel. So that's one thing of it. And then I go and I encourage the Jewish people, saying that you really do have friends in the world that loves you. And you will be surprised on how many people I meet pretty much every day, every other day, who says, really, I didn't think anyone liked us. So it's important that we speak up. It's so good what you guys are doing, that you're saying, to the Jewish people, hey, we are watching you, and we're standing with you, and we're supporting you. And yes, then I decided, you know what, I've never had my boots on the ground on the Temple Mount, so I should go up there. So I started doing
Hang
that.
on. I want to take this a piece at a time, Jane.
Okay.
You got like a Brooklyn, is that a Brooklyn or a Bronx accent?
It's so Scandinavian. I'm Danish.
Oh, you're Danish. Oh, from Denmark.
I love Danish.
No, Danishes. You like
Oh, I'm sorry.
Danishes. That's Danish.
We have an 88-year-old old Jewish single guy here.
Okay.
You like old, short Jewish men, Jane?
Can you show me a picture?
Hey, I do have the translation from what they were chanting on the Temple Mount.
Oh, let's hear it.
Because it's actually the same chant we heard on Brickell Avenue in Miami on July 20th, and we had it interpreted by some of our interpreters.
Yes.
There is no God but Allah, and Allah loves those who die in jihad. They're chanting that there is no God but Allah, and Allah loves those who die in jihad on the Temple Mount, the holiest place in Judaism.
All right, well, the Israelis have a problem on their hands after today because I don't know what they did to let people from Gaza who brought the Hamas with them on the Temple Mount in the middle of Hanukkah. Obviously, that's why
it's a slap in the
bad
face,
guys
yeah.
did this.
Yeah, it's a statement.
Yeah, of course. And now, once you give a jihadi an inch, what do?
They take more.
They take
whole
more.
hand.
Yep.
So now, next week, they're going to say, hey, we went there. They're going to have all kinds of stupidity and all that going on. But Jerusalem Jane came from Denmark and start just being there, supporting Jewish people. Then she started going up on the Temple Mount and praying up there and just shooting pictures, seeing what's going on, and has One Nation Israel. Is that the name of your Facebook page?
Israel One Nation.
Israel One Nation. Go to her Facebook page. Like her Facebook page. Follow her. She blogs every day. She started putting videos up, and then something happened last week.
Yeah.
You want to share what happened last week?
Yeah, well, I've been on the Temple Mount on Monday. Like I said, I don't do anything except I go up there and I pray. And then I have a camera and I have a phone and I just film what's going on. I mean, like what everybody else is doing. And they're screaming Al-Aqsa, and I'm filming that and I've been posting that. So I was up there on Monday. Tuesday, I received 2 emails in my inbox on Israel One Nation and on my private Facebook page. And it was a big picture of me separated into 4 pictures of me taken the day before. The first picture taken of me is when I just entered Damascus Gate. Someone standing right behind me taking a picture. Then there's 2 pictures of me where I am at the Temple Mount. And there's the last picture of me coming up from Damascus Gate. And then there's a lyric saying, Jane Keel, we know who you are, what you're doing, leave our Aqsa in peace. So there you go. I think someone don't like me.
No, it
No,
sounds
I'm
like
sure they do
no.
not.
Well, when you said also the pluralistic form, leave our mosque. So there's more than one.
Aqsa. They named it. Leave our Aqsa in peace.
Leave our Aqsa in peace.
Yeah, when they do the
Ken,
our is that there's more than one. It's not leave my. He didn't do it in the first person singular. They're talking about.
Well, if you see the pictures.
But they're talking about the whole place. It's because it's not Aqsa. It's the whole place.
Right.
They don't recognize the word the Temple Mount. They call it Aqsa, the whole compound. So that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Leave the whole thing alone.
And if you see the pictures, and I saw the pictures, and we're not going to show them right now. Maybe next week we'll see, because the whole thing's being investigated and all of that. But the pictures indicate clearly there's several people involved, because they had somebody to say she's coming down now, shoot now, because they're front shots, side shots. They had to know where she was to set up. These weren't just random shots. She was being followed. So walk us through your feeling, your emotion when you're there trying to help people. You see this thing in your inbox and you open it. That first 3 or 4 seconds, what went through your mind?
If I have to be completely honest with you, I am not surprised, because these guys are so crazy that I kind of saw this coming. But still, when I opened my inbox, I must have made some kind of a sound, because the lady I'm staying with was like, what's going on? And I said, oh my God. And I took my computer and I ran to the kitchen. I said, look at this. I think this is a threat. And she was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
So, of course, they are trying to intimidate me. And I have done nothing. I have done nothing except filming what they are doing.
Well, that
Seriously.
Well, we've had a lot of experience with that. That tends to
Yeah.
upset them when you being put on film.
we talked about this at the earlier part of our show today on this Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday, and you got some Jumpin Jumm'ah stuff going on over there at 45 minutes after the hour. We talked about this earlier, that Islam does not like intellectual challenge, does not like difference of opinion. It's very tribal. It's very doctrinaire. It's supremacist. It's regimented. So when you say you haven't done anything, you exist in a place they don't want you to exist, and you talk about what's going on. So from their point of view, you've done a lot.
And also,
I know.
and here's the other factor too, and to the Muslims, seeing a blonde-haired Norwegian-looking woman coming up to the
Denmark.
top. No, I'm just saying a Norway-looking woman coming up there and is a threat to them. They are very intimidated and threatened and upset by Western women and the way they act, the way they dress. They think of them as prostitutes, if you will.
You keep saying they. Let's go to not Schmucky. Let's go to Imam Abdullah.
Yes, Tom.
What do you think about Jane's a very attractive blonde woman from Denmark?
Yes, very much so.
Scandinavian. If you see her walking around Aqsa up there,
Yes.
what goes through your mind?
I would probably club her over the head and take her back to my place, and she would never see the light of day again. I would take her as a sex slave.
Oh, okay. See,
Oh, well,
he's
I take
honest.
that as a compliment.
I'm just being honest. It is the God's honest, the Allah's honest truth. That is the Allah's honest truth. I have room in my harem.
Okay.
I only have 3 wives.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I have room for one
How
more.
many kids?
Do you want to see a picture, Jane?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Maybe some similarity.
Maybe similar to that in Schmucky, right?
Well, I found out about this pretty early on, and obviously it's been investigated, and clearly, from what I saw, it's not going to be very difficult to find out who these people are, and clearly the security will be increased, and there will be eyes on these individuals.
I got a
and
question.
others. She's fine, and anybody that wants to do this sort of stuff is fine,
Well,
because
I
the
have a
Israelis aren't going to let things go. I want to get this out very clearly. She's not intimidated, and the proper people.
Are you kidding? I'm ready to go back right now just to prove.
But you did it
that-
properly.
Oh, she's a tough one.
She went to the authorities. They have investigated. Everything's been put in order. So everything's fine. If the bad guys are listening, they better just.
Well, I got a question for you, Jane.
Yeah.
Can you now request security to be present with you?
I just went over that.
But can
I don't.
because I
Seriously, I don't. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think
that-
I'm important enough. No.
Yeah, we don't want to go too far into what she can do or can't do.
well no because I've seen security take people up there before and they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
formations.
that's only when Jewish people want to go around.
Oh,
Only
But-
if
but-
Jews want to pray do they need security.
Let's just say she's fine.
I haven't gone back yet. I haven't tried it or tested it yet. So I don't know.
She'll be okay.
The thing is though that I know that when I go up there, they know exactly who I am. And they're just gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen the next time. Are they gonna leave me alone? Are they gonna slap me? Are they gonna what? I don't know.
Have your
So
camera running. Have your camera running. Tell us what else. That was your little adventure, and you're a very brave woman, and you got a lot of friends there too. But what else is going on these days in Jerusalem? Because you are Jerusalem Jane.
Well, all of Israel is buzzing because of the elections. So that's pretty much what we hear about every day. And let me just tell you, there is no way I can keep up on who's joining what party and who's leaving what party and who's starting here and who's starting here. I am just giving up because this is Israel. This is just like la la land when it comes to politics. I mean, I know who I would vote for, but this is kind of what's going on right here. Oh, and did you hear we had a rocket today?
Yes, I
Hamas
was going to
fired a
ask you
rocket
about
today.
that.
oh yeah.
What did you have? What they have?
Hamas shot.
Hamas rocket landed in Israel today.
Oh, yeah, we heard about that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Tell us what you know, Jane.
Well, I only know that they fired it and it hit. It did, thank God, because God is protecting His people, so nobody got hurt. But yet again, the European Union just took them off the terror list. I mean, give me a break. How stupid can the world be? And now they're firing rockets. It's just one proof after another. And Hamas just had this huge military drill. Did you see pictures of that? The biggest drill since this last summer, just to show how mighty and powerful they are. They are pathetic. Did you see pictures of them? Every time they're going out, they're hiding their face like cowards, like they did on the Temple Mount today.
Yep. That rocket landed in
Ashkelon.
Oh, it did?
I believe. Wasn't it Ashkelon that it fell in?
Wow, that's where I was.
Escalon. It's called. I think it's called Escalon.
That's where I was 2 weeks ago, in Ashkelon.
Yeah.
It's the Ashkelon region.
The one where the husband got killed?
Yeah, that's Ashkelon. There's 14 kibbutzes, so it's Ashkelon region. There's 15,000 people in those 14 kibbutzes, and the Ashkelon war room was the video you saw of the war room where they planned it. So I got the phone numbers of the people that are.
I'm sorry. Here it is. It's the Eshkol region.
Eshkol.
That's it.
Eshkol.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Eshkol region, yeah.
Air raid sirens were sounded Friday in the Eshkol region bordering the Palestinian territory. Security forces are searching the area to determine where the rocket landed.
4-12-7. I should have known earlier. We could have gotten the woman that briefed us from the war room.
Right.
To you know what? We'll see if we can get that on Monday, because that'll be a good little piece of information. All right, what do you got planned for the weekend, Jerusalem, Jane?
We're having a lot of people coming to our house because, I mean, we're in Israel, but it's still Christmas, right? So we have people coming from Holland to our house, so it's going to be very nice. And I'm meeting new people all the time. I'm meeting new Jewish people who come up to me and contact me and said, "Can we meet? Because what you're doing, it's so important, and you're a voice for us, and we want."
You're a hero, Jane. You're a hero with us Jews over here. We love Jerusalem, Jane.
All right, how could
thank you
somebody?
very much.
Well, how could? Go ahead. And then
No, I want to ask her. So, since it's Christmas is coming up, are you able to go to the town of Bethlehem and all those places
Where Jesus was
where
born.
Jesus- Are you allowed to go?
Bethlehem is always open for a lot of tourists because it's such a huge tourist attraction. And they even have decided that Christians can go to Gaza during Christmas. Gaza has been closed for a long time. Yeah, so
Gaza?
I'm not planning on going to Gaza, but do you want me to go, Tom?
No.
You have to send me some big security guys to go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big hunky security guys.
Yeah.
They have to be very good looking.
Okay,
Call Geertz guys up and see if they'll escort her in.
From Holland. Yeah,
That's
Geert
right,
Wilders
that's right.
guys.
Yeah,
They'll
Geert
fit the
Wilders.
bill. You talk Dutch by any chance?
Oh no, that's very far from Danish.
Oh, okay.
Is that even a language? It sounds like a stadium.
Speaking of languages, why don't you give a Christmas greeting to your friends back in Denmark, in your Denmarkian tongue?
Yeah, Denmarkian tongue.
Oh really? Jamen, så vil jeg gerne sige rigtig glædelig jul til alle mine venner og til hele min familie i Danmark. Jeg savner jer rigtig meget, men jeg håber, at I får en glædelig jul og godt nytår, og jeg sender mange kys og kærlige hilsner her fra Jerusalem.
We thank you.
like that.
Yeah, you got Schmucky going there.
Got him all excited there.
Getting him excited. Hey, Jerusalem, Jane, thank you very much for the report. Right from Jerusalem, live, ladies and gentlemen, at 54 minutes
Israel,
past the hour.
One Nation on Facebook. Israel, One Nation. Check it out. Say thank you,
please.
Jane, on that website. All you Jews out there, you better go to her Facebook page and say thank you for what you're doing.
Amen.
Amen.
You take
Thank
care.
you,
Stay
guys.
safe. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Shalom,
Bye.
sweetie.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Smucky, stop.
Come on,
Smucky.
dude. Yeah, we got to get him.
Come on, yeah, we got to get him some.
we gotta hook him up.
or something. Yeah,
Something
get him
or other.
Hey, you know what? Get him Imam Abdullah, one of his temporary wives or something like that, and hook him up. Yeah.
I do not share my wives with Jews, please.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
All right, now, We are going, ladies and gentlemen, to Israel. We're going right where all these folks are behind us. And it's not going to look like that. This is a Friday. Friday is Jumm'ah Friday. When we say Jumpin Jumm'ah
Freaky Friday.
We mean it.
we mean it because Jumm'ah is a very significant day for Muslims. In fact, so significant that Islamic doctrine, and when we say Islamic doctrine, we're talking primarily of 3 areas of information. There's 6 or 7 that combine the totality of how you determine doctrine. But the 3 we're talking about, the Quran, the Sunnah, and the Hadith. The Quran is the word, supposedly given from Allah through Gabriel to Muhammad, who was illiterate and written down. The Sunnah and Hadith are the life stories, essentially, about Muhammad.
Ways and actions of
Yeah,
Muhammad.
if you want to know how to live as a Muslim, people have put all this stuff together.
Complete user's guide to life.
Yeah, here's a user's guide. You follow this is an invisible book. You follow all of this, and you follow that whole thing.
Right.
See, the Bible, Christian Bible, is your instruction book, but you have faith in Christ Christmas time,
Right.
and your sins are forgiven, and the book instructs you how to live, but it doesn't determine your eternal destiny because the death of Christ, Christian theology, says it was his death is sufficient to pay for your sin, past, present, and future.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, which means because you can't do enough good from God's point of view. But if you're a Muslim, you got to follow this book perfectly, or whammo kazammo,
Hellfire for you.
you're burning in
The
hell.
reliance of the traveler.
Hot oil and your skin will burn off multiple times, and then it will grow back, and then more hot oil, and it will melt and peel off again.
And then it grows
Right.
again. So when we say Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday, doctrine says on Fridays, every male physically capable within the distance of a mosque must attend, or guess what happens?
Hellfire for you.
Hellfire. If you miss Jummah prayer, you go to hell. This is why these places are packed out on. And look, some of you Muslims may be going now, that's not true. That's not true. You can miss. Go read your own doctrine.
Go read your own
If you are
book.
physically capable and it's within a reasonable distance, and if you have a car that's hours, then you are obligated to go, or you now go to hell. Now, can you do stuff to try to fix that? Yeah, there's a whole bunch
Yes.
of things you
Kill a
have to
bunch
do.
of infidels.
Yeah. And ultimately, if you die in a jihad, a holy war, then all of your sins are forgiven. You're translated immediately. Who in the world would have thought up something like this? This is
The devil.
The devil, yes. The devil made me do it. So when we talk about Jumpin Jumm'ah Freaky Friday, we're referring to this, but we are going to Israel on the 21st of March, 2015. We're going up on that Temple Mount. It's not going to look like that because that's what it looks like on Fridays. We go up on days other than Fridays, and it isn't going into the lion's den. The Israeli border police and the Israeli old city police are all over the place. There's cops all over the place. And there's very small crowds. Now, the Muslim people may, yell something out in Arabic or all of that, but this is what we want you to experience. Get out of your little protective bubbles. Go see what the Israelis deal with every single day, and you'll be a stronger, harder, more equipped, more aggressive, proper fighter back here to implement the Israeli security project. 689 days.
I mean, you have a woman from a Danish woman, Denmark, going up there by herself, with no security, no nothing. I mean, obviously, you go with us, we're going to have a lot of
We have a lot of security.
So get your tuchuses off the couch and come to Israel with Trento.
How do they sign up?
Well,
Somebody help them out. They're on the edge of their chairs. They're driving. Tell me, we want to come. How much is it?
$3,000, but that's all your meals and beautiful 5-star hotels. You're not carrying your bags. It's gonna be wunderbar.
We go to all these crazy places, phenomenal stuff. Then in the evenings, we have top shelf subject matter experts briefing us on national security issues, on the politics of Israel, on the geography, on military leaders who have fought in 100 wars, telling us the stories. We have Arabs who are very friendly to Israelis coming in and briefing us on all of this. Really, this is almost an AA, associate's degree in Middle East studies with a focus on the exploding Middle East. And then you come back and will be integrated into our program here. What else, Mark, is going on with our trip?
Well, you have Frank Gaffney, who's coming on a trip, a brilliant man.
We're
national
over
security.
time. How did that happen?
Are we over time?
According to that clock right there, we're over time by
I
10
know.
seconds.
Well, let's go. We better go.
All right, we got to go. We'll pick this up on Monday. Have a wonderful Hanukkah finishing up. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on Monday, everybody.
Bye.
That's